Sequels, love 'em or hate 'em, are basically continuations of the first film, or a first film. But now, since I'm a little older, I actually started to realize there's two types of sequels. There's nonsensical sequels, and there's sensible sequels. Sensible sequels are basically a part 2 to the first film. Like, sometimes it takes place right after the first movie, and sometimes it takes place sometime not too long after the first movie. Nonsensible sequels will also start immediately after the first movie ended. However, compared to sensible sequels, nonsensible sequels basically have a lot more going on than the sensible ones. If you see, like, it can sometimes be like a multiverse or save the world type film. For an example, Ice Age The Meltdown is a sensible sequel, while Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Ice Age Continental Drift, and Ice Age Collision Course are most definitely non-sensible sequels. Cars 2 is a non-sensible sequel, and Cars 3 technically is a sensible sequel, because it actually carries very similar things from the first movie than the second one does. All the second one does is just, like, basically introduces a lot of characters which are basically made for toys and stuff, with young me being kind of satisfied. But it can be very varied of which is better. There are a lot of sensible sequels that I actually really enjoy, like Madagascar 2. Madagascar 3 not being an entirely too sensible sequel. The reason why I say that is mainly because there's nothing entirely going on except for the animals just trying to get back to New York. But the reason why I say it's not entirely so sensible is mainly because it takes place, like, somewhere beyond, like, Africa, and the characters that they come across are in a circus, and it takes place all throughout Europe. Like, that's kind of nonsensical, but it's sensible because there's no world destruction or anything. What's kind of funny is that The American Tale was going to have a nonsensical sequel, but fortunately it changed into a sensible sequel. Well, I personally like sensible sequels, like something carrying on from the first movie, rather than, like, destruction, something threatening the universe, a new villain, a new style, sometimes a terrible plot. Now I'm going to share you some of my favorite nonsensible and sensible sequels. For the sensible pile, I will say Toy Story 2, Shrek 2, Madagascar 2, Despicable Me 2. And for the nonsensible sequels, I would say SpongeBob Movie, Sponge Out of Water, Shrek Forever After, and that's just it. But Disney direct-to-video sequels can be, nonsensible or sensible, but sometimes the sensible ones can be the most irritating to watch, because sometimes it can actually be, they can actually be exactly how the first movie was, and the characters may not actually have good character development. While others, sometimes, even if they don't even have good character development, sometimes they can be pretty good. But what technically all sequels are technically made for is money, but mainly the nonsensible ones, and that's technically the reason why that many nonsensible ones or nonsensible sequels are actually very not entirely so good films. I just hope that Ice Age Boiling Point and Shrek 5 will be sensible sequels. And even if they're not sensible, I just hope they're going to be good films.